Hi everyone, I'm Jennifer.
And I'm Sam. Welcome to Quietly Messy.
This is our podcast where we share the highs, lows, and everything in between about being high schoolers. Our mission is to document our experiences, connect with other teens, and remind you that even in the chaos, you're not alone.
We're here to talk about the real stuff, whether it's academic pressure, tough classes, or just the everyday challenges of growing up.
In today's episode, we're kicking things off by giving you a little background about us and how we met. Then we're diving into the world of AP classes and all the stress they bring.
We'll share our opinions on the classes we're taking this year, like AP Physics 1, AP US History, and AP Lang, and spill about the challenges we've faced, like working so hard and still struggling to keep up.
We'll talk about why teachers make or break a class, how to survive AP exams, and even look back at last year's AP World History, featuring our amazing teacher.
And don't worry, we've got advice for studying, beating procrastination, and, most importantly, protecting your mental health while dealing with school stress.
It's a packed episode, so grab a snack, sit back, and let's get started. So, let's talk about how we met.
Okay, so it was, I believe,
Last year?
the beginning of...
Middle school.
Yeah, middle school. I'd say beginning of 2022.
Was it 8th grade?
Yeah, it was 8th grade. It was during 8th grade.
You were friends with one of my friends, and then you just joined our little crew, our friend group.
Yeah, so the backstory was like, I had COVID, so before I was with this friend, I had no one, so she was like my only friend.
Mhm.
So, and then COVID hits. It hits me, so I was out for 2 weeks. So she therefore had to find new friends to hang out for that 2 weeks. And after I came back from that quarantine, I was like, where are you?
And she was with us.
Hello?
She was with us.
Yeah, and the friend introduced me to the group, and that's how I met Jennifer.
Yeah. Honestly, it's been so long, I don't remember, like, the specific details of how we met. Like, I honestly don't remember, like, my first impression of you.
Me too. I only remember that time I was eating pizza while watching guys doing your Vietnamese flash mob dance.
Oh, yeah. So in middle school, I took Viet class because we offer it at our middle school. If you guys don't know, we live in an area where it's like 90% Vietnamese. So if you're hearing us talk about Vietnamese culture, then that's why. And that's why we offer Viet as like a language class instead of like we also offer Spanish and French, but in middle school we had Viet class. And it was that season, a Lunar New Year season. And we were doing a flash mob dance. And I guess Sam remembers us dancing, but I honestly don't remember Sam watching us dance. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
But
it's there. I did remember watching you guys doing it, which is cool, which is fun.
honestly, but we still do those in high school. We still have Viet classes in high school, and we still did. You did flash mob last year for our Lunar New Year show. I remember that. Anyways, we're on Thanksgiving break right now, which is fun.
Well, I'm so glad because we deserved that thing after
Yeah.
such a stressful start of the year. It was
Yeah.
just overwhelming. It's junior year. It's just so much classes, pressures that we have never experienced since we stepped into high
Yeah.
school. This is a different type of struggle, a different type of stress. It's like
It's crazy because
just a lot.
it's a very packed year because junior year is when like everyone takes their APs and everyone is like involved in extracurriculars and sports. So,
Mhm.
But what are your plans for Thanksgiving, Sam? I mean, Thanksgiving break.
Honestly, rotting, hanging out with my friends, try to catch up on some of the classes and information actually. Like, I need to self-study more on some of the classes so I don't fall behind too bad. It's definitely something. How about you?
Honestly, I'm trying to take a break from everything. I feel like I've had such like a stressful past 3 weeks. I just need like a break from everything. I hung out with my friend today. We went to this cafe and then we walked around. And we're having Friendsgiving, Sam.
Yeah.
We're having Friendsgiving.
It's this Saturday too.
It is. We're having our Friendsgiving this Saturday, which is fun.
It's gonna be a really big one because 12 people is...
It's a lot to fit in a tiny house, but I think we'll have fun. We will.
Yeah, I don't think we have this big hangout before. Like, was like 12 people. I think maximum ever was
Like 9 or 10, yeah.
9, 10.
That
Yeah.
is crazy. Anyways, so this episode is gonna be about AP classes, and we're gonna be just going over like our the AP classes we're taking and our opinions on them and just that kind of stuff. So this year, Sam, what APs are you taking this year?
I'm taking 4 AP, which is I feel like it's kind of a lot, but I'm taking AP Lang, AP Comp Sci A, AP Physics 1, and AP US History. How about you?
I'm taking three APs. I'm taking AP Physics 1, AP US History, and AP Lang. To anyone who's watching this and you're really confused about why we're taking so many APs, our school is very competitive and it's to the point where it's like normal to take a bunch of APs. Like I feel like you could take three APs, have all A's in them, but still be ranked number like 35 in your grade. Like that's how competitive it
Yeah,
is. So I think we have a good like understanding of the stress and like all of the pressure that comes with it because it's a very competitive school. It really is.
yeah.
But speaking of that, let's dive right into AP Physics.
The most stressful class out of all the APs that we're taking.
So our friend group, I think like a majority of us are taking AP Physics 1. I think it's nice. It's a class that is very stressful, but it's nice if you have friends in it because you can stress about it together, which is cool.
Yeah.
But we had a quiz on the Friday before break. That quiz, I came out of it. I was like, I did so good on it. It was about circular motion. It was finally a lesson that I understood. And then I came home and I was thinking about it. I was like, oh my God, I got the easiest question wrong because I overthunk it. I was like, is overthunk a word? I overthought it. And I was like, oh my God, I got the easiest question wrong. But how'd you feel about the quiz?
It's for me when I was doing it, it was all good
Mm.
until the last FRQ.
Oh, yeah.
At the last FRQ, I was like, what is going on?
Like 441 kilometers? How do you do that? Like, I don't know. I have no idea, dude.
Okay, so somehow managed to solve for it, but when I was converting the units
Yeah.
from kilometers to meters, I
Yeah.
converted it wrong. So that when my answer, the acceleration from Earth was 421 kilometers away from Earth,
Uh-huh.
I somehow managed to calculate 3.81 times 10 to the 12 newtons for the
What the?
acceleration from Earth. So I have no idea how I did that. Wait, okay, I didn't know. Okay, so I was doing the calculation wrong and I kind of converted weirdly. And I
Yeah.
didn't realize until I talked to my friends. And it's always where I talk to other people that I realized like I fumbled that test hard. Quiz.
Dude, I fumbled so hard. I got the easiest questions wrong because like I over like thought it because our teacher he'll say like randomly, okay, 2 minutes left. And I'm like, oh my god, I gotta like fix something because there's definitely something wrong in my quiz when there's like nothing like obviously wrong and I just changed something. I was like, oh, I'm so mad at myself, but I think it's whatever. I'm very thankful that the class is heavily rounded. That's like the only thing saving me right now.
For real.
I
For
know.
real. Although it's like round, I'm still at a B.
I'm still at a B too.
Yeah, it's a good place, but not a good place considering the percentage.
Yeah.
Just because this is rounded, so
But honestly, I think having a B in physics, AP physics is very good because I hear people's grades and they're like D's and F's. I'm like, oh my God, like maybe I'm not doing that bad. But honestly, I think it's normal to do bad in that class too because that class is crazy like difficult. Like I came in that class day one not knowing what the word velocity meant. Like
yeah, me too. Me too.
I remember, oh my God, I remember for the first week we were in the same period and you sat behind me and then our teacher started talking about velocity and turned to you, I was like, wait, what does velocity mean again?
No, me too. Like we're supposed to know this since 8th grade, but I forgot everything about it.
Dude, I don't remember anything from 8th grade. Like that was during like after COVID. Like don't no. I don't remember anything like the 2 years after COVID. I don't remember anything.
But I vaguely remember some things, but like it's kind of like a mix up with just random memories. So
Yeah.
that's how my 8th grade.
So why did you take physics? That's my question.
My pathway is engineering.
Uh-huh.
Specifically, I was debating between mechanical engineering and robotics engineering.
Yeah.
I was debating on those two. So I was like, if you're going to engineering, you're gonna need physics. So like it's either you take it now or later.
Hmm.
So I took physics, thinking
Yeah.
that it should be common sense, right? It should be common sense because it's physics. It's how the world works. But the part about physics that make it so bad is just the math in it,
Yeah.
and just like the units and just the sig figs. Just like one minor mistake can just change your whole entire problem.
I took physics. I took physics because AP Bio was full, and all of my friends, you guys were taking physics. I was like, you know what? I don't want to be alone in AP Environmental or AP Chem or anything like that. Because if I were to take those, I would have been alone. I was like, yeah, I'll just take AP Physics. And honestly, I don't know. I have kind of mixed feelings about the class. Like, there are some things that I understand, and I like the people in that class.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like the concepts and all that stuff in the class. Our teacher is very cool when he's not teaching. I like
Yeah,
his I
definitely.
like his personality. He's a great person, but I'm sorry. He's a good teacher though. I just don't like physics. I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
just but a lot of people in that class like they're very smart and it's a lot of pressure being in that class, you know. Cause you look around, cause you know whenever he like passes back the like tests and the FRQs, and then your groups just start it's like sharing their like papers to be like, oh, I got this right, I got this wrong, and then you look at your paper and you got like the whole front page wrong.
Well, that was me. So, but the good thing about my group is that nobody talks to each other.
Are you serious?
So, like, yeah, we kind of just mind our own business because none of us know each other. So it's really awkward.
Yeah,
And until now, it's still a very awkward relationship until with all the group members. So we kind of just keep our papers to ourselves.
dude. I feel like honestly, I feel like for physics, you need like a good group because I think that helped me a lot. I think you need because physics, he makes us like turn to our table mates and like talk about the problem. I think that helped a lot to understand the problem. I think because I've talked to other people in like other physics periods or in my period, and they talk about how like they're super awkward with their teammates and like they're doing bad in the class. I'm like, I think collaboration is a big thing about it's like a big part of acing physics.
Yeah, I also believe that too. Cause honestly, by getting ideas and answers from other and getting explanation from other, you kind of learn from it.
Mm.
However, sometimes we're not at all lucky because, in my case, first, I'm kind of an introvert, so I kind of don't want to talk too much to people around me in the class.
Yeah.
And the second part is that every time when he say to turn to a group, my group mates, like especially the guy that I'm partnered with, he would turn behind him where his friends sat, and he would just whisper the answer to them.
Oh my
And so
God.
it's just like I can't hear anything. I can't even like discuss.
Mhm.
Like when I'm trying to ask, they literally just give me a one look and then they turn back to talking to each other, bro. I
Yeah.
can't even like say anything because like what am I supposed to do? So it was very awkward.
I start throwing punches. I'm just kidding. No violence, no violence. No, I'm just kidding. Um, But Loki, I think that class depends on the people and the teachers. Like, I know we could play a lot with the class, but I really do like our teacher. He's really cool. I just
Yeah,
like when he's teaching, I'm like, I don't think you're that cool. And then after class, I'm like, you know what, you're pretty
yeah.
cool. You're pretty chill. So, but overall, I think physics is a good class if you have friends in that class. If you have people to study with, that's helpful. If that's part of your like career, if like physics is a core class that you need like for engineering or anything like that, you should definitely take it. But just know that it's a lot of concepts and a lot of math. It's math that you apply to concepts. I went going in, I thought it was math that you applied to concept. I thought it was concepts that you applied to math, but you applied
Hmm.
the math to the. If that makes sense, it'll make sense if you take the class. You know?
Yeah. And one thing that really matters is in this class is the units actually.
Yeah, the
The
units.
units really matters in this class. Like you have to give an answer, but you also need to specify what are you finding. Like
Yeah,
is it acceleration? Is it speed with direction? Or, something like that is really important in this class. And it's not like math class where you just find the answer. You
yeah,
have to understand how that your answer applied to the situation itself,
yeah.
like the real life situation, which is something that we might forget while we're doing a lot of math. Like,
Hmm.
because right now equation, but sometimes we forget the units at the end or what we're doing.
Hmm.
So, it gets mixed up quite often in this class, but we all
Yeah.
get the hang of it eventually.
But anyways, let's move on to AP US history. So we took AP World last year.
Yes.
It was honestly AP World. I mean, APUSH from AP World was such like it was such a big jump. Because I feel like AP World was APUSH is definitely a lot more self study. Because
Yeah.
for our class, we read this like gigantic textbook called "Give Me Liberty." It's like it's a fat textbook. It's gigantic as heck. And we read a chapter each week. Each chapter is like 40 to 50 pages, I feel like. We read that every week and we have quizzes every week. And that's mostly all the learning that we do in that class. The other learning comes from like activities and
Debates.
debates, activities and like Google Docs and stuff like that. But I feel like the
Yeah.
main studying that you get is from reading the textbook by yourself.
Yeah. And for those in our generation now, we kind of have really cooked, or so I say, is really bad attention span.
Yeah.
And so just sit down and just read a really text heavy book,
Mhm.
it's sometimes can be really overwhelming, especially when you also have other classes that you have to do.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I'm reading, I don't understand what I'm reading. Like my eye is reading, but my brain is not comprehending. So I had to go back and reread to make sure that I understand what events is going on and how it connects and all that stuff.
I feel like I honestly I understand why the class has to be mostly self-study because there's no way we're gonna condense like the entirety of a push in like just lectures. Like there's gonna be a little bit of self-study. I do really bad when it comes to self-studying because I have bad attention span from TikTok and social media.
Yeah.
And I can't just sit down and read a book. Like I have to like actually watch a presentation to like absorb it. I think that's what helped me a lot last year in AP World because our teacher
Yeah.
last year did a bunch of presentations, which I found really helpful, but I feel like in A push it's a lot less.
Because I feel like we're more like visuals learner, or like it's better for us to sit in a class environment where everyone is locked in and the teacher is just giving us like lectures on how the historical events work. And I
Yeah.
think that really helps us than just read some documents and then answering some questions. And most of the time in that class, I feel like it's just half like talking to our friends,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
then the other
100%.
half is maybe doing the work
Bro.
if we are actually doing it. Because I feel like the teacher doesn't really care much if we talk with our friend. Yeah.
I think he likes the fact that we actually feel comfortable enough to like talk in that class because I think he understands that some teachers are like really strict about not talking to your classmates, and I think that's kind of harmful to students. I feel like students should be able to interact with each other, and I think our A push teacher really recognizes that. But at the same time, I feel like I barely learned in that class because of how much we talk.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
but I really like the teacher. Our teacher is really cool.
Yeah, he's a very chill guy.
Same thing with physics. I like the teacher. I just don't like the class.
Yeah. But honestly, like some stuff we learn is actually cool though. Some of
Yeah.
this historical stuff is cool. It's interesting to learn about.
Yeah. I will say I liked the idea of learning about APUSH more because I liked the fact that it was condensed into one continent instead of AP World, which was like every single freaking continent.
Yeah.
I mean, not continent, country. My bad. I liked how it was condensed. Only I didn't like that about AP World, but for A Push, the downside of that is you need to know the more specifics. Like you need to know I think it's really important to know timelines and if like chronological events, which I'm really bad at. But for AP World, like
Yeah.
it's like all very vague because there's no possible way that you're gonna memorize every single little thing from each country. So yeah.
Hey, at least we did good on our AP exam
For last year?
last year. Yeah,
Oh
so I guess it paid
yeah,
off.
it did.
So although the content is kind of jumpy all around, but at least we get a good score on it. So that wasn't that bad.
Right? Yeah. But I feel bad for did you do digital or paper last year?
I did paper.
Dude, I think a lot of people did bad on digital because we had different prompts. Like the prompt for paper was a lot more easy than the digital ones. I felt bad, but that's not my problem.
Yeah. I mean, it just one part of it is because our problem is quite recent. Like the content is
Oh
like
yeah.
around in the 1900s,
Yeah.
so it's pretty recent. But for them, I believe it was in the 1700s.
Yeah, it was something about, I think it was just something about, I can say this all out because all the content has come out for, like all the questions and stuff, but I'm pretty sure it was about Japanese imperialism. And then for,
Yeah, so that's like around 1800.
I think ours, DBQ was about, I think communism in the 1900s. It was something World War
Yeah.
Two. Yeah, same thing with the SAQs, and yeah. Do you think you do better on SAQs or DBQs? I mean, free response or MCQ?
Honestly, at first I thought that MCQ would be really hard just because our teacher make all of our MCQ for the class really hard. But the moment that I stepped into the AP exam, I was like, oh, the MCQ weren't that bad, and I feel like I did pretty well in the MCQ than
Yeah.
the FRQ.
I feel like I did better on FRQ than MCQ, but I think that's just me because I do very well on FRQs. Like, let's take my APUSH scores. I average like 60s and 70s on the quizzes, but I'm pretty sure for all two or three of the SCQs that we did, I got like hundreds on those. But that's just me because I do bad on I mean, I do bad on MCQs. I do very good on FRQs. That's like my only strength.
Yeah. For me, my MCQ and FRQ are quite balanced, so it doesn't really have
Yeah.
much impact on any side. So that's that.
APUSH, I feel like you should take APUSH if you take AP Lang, because AP Lang, you have to take things from. We're gonna talk about this later, but AP Lang, we have to take events from like real life into your essays, and I think AP World and APUSH are very good classes for that because you get examples of like outside events that you can write about. Well, that's
Yeah,
yeah. That's like the main reason why I took AP US history. I wasn't gonna take it at first, but then my friends were like, "You already took AP World, and you're gonna take AP Lang next year, so might as well."
I agree. I agree.
Yeah, but overall, A push. It depends on the teacher. Teachers teach it differently. Our teacher is great, but that class, if you don't like self studying, you probably shouldn't take it.
Yeah,
It's a huge jump from AP World, so don't expect a class that's similar to AP World.
yeah. I also believe that the textbook also matters too,
Oh
because
yeah.
last year we read off of a textbook called AMSCO. It condenses the information a lot, and it also makes the concepts and the events really easy to understand,
Yeah.
which is a really big contrast to the current textbook that we're reading, because it's so detailed.
I love Amsco.
Yeah, I love
I miss
AMSCO.
Amsco. I miss Amsco. Dear Eric Foner, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, but I absolutely hate Give Me Liberty. I respect you as an author. I just don't like reading your textbook. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
too much.
He's probably not gonna watch this, but I'm so sorry. On the topic of history classes, let's talk about AP World last year. And our teacher for AP World last year was so good. Like he's like my favorite
Yes.
teacher that I've had at high school. Like I wish I could shout him out, but I don't want the district to get mad at us for calling out people's names. But
Yeah.
if you're watching this, our AP World History teacher from last year, we love you and your class, and thank you so much for giving us a good idea of what AP classes look like. That was my first ever AP, and
Mhm.
I feel like if you were a bad teacher, which you aren't, if you were a bad teacher, then I would have been deterred from taking any other APs. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. You have really helped us, and your teaching was just overall amazing. You were very
Yeah.
chill. It was just an awesome experience. I'm so glad that was
Yeah.
he was my first AP teacher. It was just an awesome experience. And the class itself too. The class, the period that we're in, just top tier. Everything
Yeah.
about it was just amazing. The classmates, the content. Okay, the content was like, all right, but like the
The content
teacher,
was okay.
yeah, the class environment overall amazing.
I love sixth period. Sixth period, I miss it. Loki, I
Yeah,
miss sixth period. But but we had a bunch of projects in that class which were
yeah,
fun. We had a food project where we took an ingredient. or something that was like traded through, I think, the Colombian exchange, and we did a presentation about it, and then we brought in the food, which was very fun. I brought
Hmm.
in I did cacao, and I brought in brownies. Yeah.
For us, we got pork, so we brought in fried rice with.
Yeah, we also did a project together. We did at the end of the year after AP exams, we did a project on global world issues, and we talked about what did we? Oh, we talked about online CSAM content, and we
Yeah.
did like a whole presentation about it, and we did like a video about like stranger danger on the internet. Stay
It was a
away.
fun. It was really fun, and you guys
It was very
can
fun.
search it up, but
Like Loki don't because that was kind of embarrassing.
yeah.
Like I'm sorry. Like actually, I'm not. This is like a fun story. Last night, I remember I was scrolling through our Discord. So we have a Discord server, and I looked back and I saw a pinned message, and I saw our video and then our friend's video, and I clicked on our video. I was like, oh my god, this is so embarrassing.
Stop! I didn't even take a look at it. Oh my god, I don't even want to take a
I
look
took
at
a
it.
look. I haven't taken a look at it in ages, but until yesterday. But we filmed that. It was a skit. It was me, you, and our friend, and we filmed us. We pretended that our friend was a predator online, and that I was like an innocent victim, just messaging people on Discord. And we like filmed it at Starbucks, and we filmed it at a park nearby. But it was very fun. Honestly, the whole experience was fun.
Yeah, I love it, but the editing part of it was took me days actually. I was like locked in, but and then the worst part of it is that while I was doing the voiceover for it, I was also sick, so my throat was just filled with mucus. So like when I was talking, like my voice sounded really weird. Like I don't think
Oh, I
it's
see.
obvious through the voice over on the video, but like
Uh-huh.
I was struggling to just try to voice over that thing. Just it was really hard when your mucus is just stuck into your throat and you try to talk.
But you're sick right now. Like not sick, but like you have a sore throat right now.
Yeah. Oh, I hate that. I hate getting sick.
It's okay.
It's getting cold.
It's okay. It's not noticeable. It is. It's getting chilly.
Yeah.
It's chilly season. But I'm ready for Christmas.
I know. Oh my god,
I'm
it's
so
almost the
ready.
end of the year. That is so fast.
I know, right? Dude, but then we get older. So,
Oh.
I had so much fun being 16. I feel like being 16 was like my best year so far
Mhm.
because I've done a lot. I feel like one of my resolutions this year, I don't have resolutions. I just like think of stuff in my head that I want to accomplish this year. One of my accomplishments this year was getting out of my comfort zone and like actually hanging out with people and like making friends. And I think I accomplished that. So, I'm gonna miss this year a lot.
Yeah.
I really am. Not to get sappy, but
For me, 16. I just turned 16 like quite recently, so wasn't a lot happening.
Oh, I
But
forgot about that.
yeah, so it's kind of just a mix of just academic stress and also like fun
Yeah.
time with my friends. So I guess it just balanced out. It kind of cancel out each other. So it wasn't that
I
bad.
turned I turned 17 in 4 months. That's
Damn.
crazy, dude. I know, because I have an early
Yo.
birthday. It's fine, I guess. You can't hold on to the past. You just gotta move on.
Yeah. Hey, but at least we make memories throughout our journey.
Yeah.
So that's the best part about it.
Yeah. You're right. Okay. Well, our last class, AP Language and AP World. If you are a freshman and you want to take AP World, I highly recommend it if you have a good teacher. I feel like teachers play a very high role. They make or break a class, like we said. They really do. And our AP World teacher really made our class.
Yeah, and shout out to Heimler, a very good online history teacher. I really loved it.
Oh,
His
Heimer!
contents really helped a lot, actually, for review.
On YouTube, yeah. If you are in AP World or APUSH, search up Heimler's history on YouTube. He will help you so much. I think he helped us like get very good grades on both the AP exams and in our classes. So, I'm internally in debt to him. I'm eternally in debt to him.
Yeah, and at the end of the year, we also made like a little AP World shirt where we have this "I love AP World." We have our teacher's face on it and Heimler because that's how much we
Oh
appreciate the both
yeah.
of them.
I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember on the back of our shirts, we had like pictures of historical like moments. We had like flags and then like Vasco da Gama. and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And I remember we looked up the AP exam requirements because this was our first year taking an AP exam. I said, you can't wear any apparel that has like history references to it. So I remember someone texted in our group chat like last minute, guys, wear a jacket tomorrow just in case they don't allow us to take the AP exam because of our shirts.
Yeah.
But I don't think, no, we didn't end up wearing the shirts.
Yeah.
We wore it to our final.
Yeah, and we did kind of bad, all of us.
Oh yeah, we did really bad on the final.
So like we took it as like a little taboo to avoid it. So we just wear it for funsies, but
But then we did bad on it.
yeah. Hey, what do you still have the shirt?
I do. I wear it to sleep sometimes, but it's getting cold,
Oh.
so I can't wear it anymore. But you know, it's whatever. I like that class. It'll
Yeah.
be in my history books of one of my favorite classes. But
Yeah, me
next
too.
AP, AP Language and Composition, AP Lang for short. I think AP Lang is the most important class that you'll take because once you get to college, all you'll be doing is write. You're gonna write, write, write. You're gonna be writing reports. You're gonna be writing essays, and AP Lang will help you with that. I think that's why it's important.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think teachers definitely play a role in it because personally, my teacher compared to Sam's teacher, my teacher, our class is very, very easy. We're currently reading a book called Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner. I will say, Michelle Zauner, if you're ever watching this, I freaking love your book. Thank you so much for writing this. I think it's the only book that I've ever read for school that I actually enjoyed. But the workload in AP Lang for my teacher personally, we read like a chapter and we answer like four questions and we go over it. And that's like the entirety of our class. And sometimes whenever we're on a new unit, we go over like we were on rhetorical analysis essays. We went over like rhetorical devices and rhetorical choices and we wrote a couple of I think we did a couple of never wrote a full essay before. Maybe we did. I think we did do a full essay once, but it wasn't like I don't know. We did a full essay once. It was a time right, and then we did a couple of
Mhm.
like one paragraph time writes, but that's like the entirety of my class.
Lucky. Oh my god. My class is quite the opposite because we write a lot in my class.
Mm-hmm.
So we also read the Pride and H Mart. It's a really good book. However, our pacing is really slow compared to Jennifer's class. And currently we're only on chapter 7. What chapter are you guys on right now?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I finished the book.
Oh my god.
It's very different, but like but you were saying how like you learn a lot more in your class though.
Yeah. The thing is, we also read other articles and memoirs and other stuff aside from the
Mhm.
book itself. So we also read like 7 other different articles, and we have to annotate them, and then we also have to answers questions relating to them, and also write short rhetorical analysis on them. And then we also have projects like rhetorical analysis, song projects or visuals on it. So we have to write a lot instead of just read and answer the
Yeah.
questions like Jennifer's class. However, the good thing about writing a lot is that you actually improve. Like when your teacher is seeing your work and giving you feedback on it, it actually really improves your writing. So that is something that I'm very grateful about because it definitely boosts my writing a lot compared to the beginning of the year. So that is something that I like about it. I don't like the amount of work that we have to do, but on the other hand, we still get some benefits off of it, which is a good thing. So, yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting because you talk about AP. I think you said this to me before, but you said like AP Lang was one of your harder classes. Me personally, AP Lang is my easiest class. I don't think I've ever had a single piece of homework in that class.
Ooh,
I
lucky.
I've never done homework in that class, but I think one of the downsides is I feel like we don't learn as much as you guys. I still don't know how to properly write rhetorical analysis essay. I mean, I know how to do it. I just don't know how to do a good one. Like I know how to do it. I just can't write a good one. But we're already moved on, so we can't even go back. We're on argumentative essays now, which I'm very excited for because I like argumentative essays more. But yeah, personally, I really like our teacher. He's very cool. He's very chill. I He does this thing every week where we just spend like 20 minutes in class telling something good about our weekend, which is what our APUSH teacher does.
Oh, that's cute. That's cute.
Our APUSH teacher does that too.
Yeah.
Tell me something good Mondays.
Wait, that's nice. At least he's trying to connect with you guys and, let you guys share.
Yeah. But your AP leg teacher is on maternity leave right now, so you have a sub.
Yes. I love the sub actually. The sub is really good.
But does your like regular teacher also like grade your stuff like digitally?
Well, before she leave, yes, she still grades our stuff. But then after she leave, it's just all on the sub.
Oh, I see. Well, that makes sense. Honestly, I could not manage a new baby and grading papers.
Yeah.
But yeah, the sub is really nice. I
Yeah.
visited her class a couple times to interview her for our yearbook class because I'm in yearbook, and
Hmm.
she's very nice. She gave us a whole interview without any question, which is very cool because I feel like a bunch of teachers at our school are so annoyed by the yearbook kids and coming into their class, but she's very chill about it.
Yeah. And also she have a lot of lores too. So her
Really?
background, like she have lived so many lives that if
Oh my
you search her
God.
up, you can see so many different versions of her, and it's just crazy too.
That's
And
crazy.
also her, like not only does her background is very diverse, but also her own ethnicity too. I think she's a mixed blood child.
You know what's funny? I noticed something about like teachers at our school. Like I said before, our school is like predominantly Asian, predominantly Vietnamese, and every single teacher there is white. Like there's like a handful of Viet and
Yeah.
non-white teachers. Everyone is white, and I'm like, what? It's kind of funny to think about because like, but part of me wonders if like they're ever like if when they like set up for the school, how did they adapt to the cultural diversity? Because our school is very, it's not diverse, but I feel like if I was like I feel like coming from a white teacher and coming to a school where it's predominantly Asian, I feel like I don't know how it would be interesting to adapt to that because I feel like there's like this stereotype where white teachers go with white schools and then all the Asian teachers go to Asian schools. I feel like how our teachers would adapt to that when they first came over.
Well, I think if you look at the background of most of our teachers, they actually live in this area since they're young. They either live in Fountain Valley or grow
Yeah.
up in this area.
Yeah, you're right. I think they're probably used to it.
Maybe back then their classes are more diverse in terms of like ethnicities, but it just now if you only look at our school, we don't have that much diversity, but if you look at this other school around us, most of them are quite diverse
Yeah.
actually.
I think they're
Yeah.
probably used to it. Also, we live in California, so like it's all everyone's kind of chill. Everyone's very used to the
Hmm.
diversity. So, but yeah. But anyways, I think we're done discussing AP classes, so let's go give some studying advice.
Yes.
Woohoo! So, how do we how do we combat procrastination? How do you combat procrastination, Sam?
So before I start, I just want to mention that please take this with a grain of salt because as students, of course we will procrastinate, and I am myself is a very big procrastinator.
We are D1 procrastinators.
Yeah. So it's kind of hypocritical for me to give out advice regarding this topic, but I will try to give out some advice that I sometimes work for me, but sometimes don't. So first of all, I just try to finish my work at school, so that when I go home, I can just sleep. That's the thing that I do the most. Like I try to finish everything in school, so that when I go home, I have all my free time. That's my first
Mhm.
way to do it. How about you? What is one of your ways to do to combat procrastination?
I think turning off my devices definitely helps a lot. I literally I turn off my phone. I like shut it off and I don't reply to anyone. It's kind of annoying for people because they can't reach me, but like, I have to like focus. Honestly, I'm a very bad person to ask about procrastination tips because I constantly procrastinate. I think one of my brain it works like if something isn't due the next day, if it's not something I'm interested in, or if it's not like a test or a quiz that's coming up, then I just won't lock in for it. But even then, like for quizzes and tests, sometimes I just won't lock in for some reason. I think, let's take this podcast for example. I was very excited to start this, so I was like locking in. I was doing everything, but for like physics tests or something like that, and I'm just like, oh, I already know the content. Like, yeah, yeah. Then I won't lock in as hard. I think one of the biggest things is you need to create the ambience. You got to put in good music, shut off all your devices, and tell everyone, don't bother me for an hour. I'm studying. So that's one of my main tips.
Yeah, I agree. Those actions really help too because I also have screen time on my phone that I purposely set for my
Mhm.
social medias that I can only use this certain amount of time per day or yeah. So I can only open Instagram for like 5 times a day for 10 minutes, something like that.
Yeah. Do you still have that? What, even when you're on break?
Yeah, I still have it because I still find myself mindlessly scrolling through different apps. Like
Doom scrolling. You're doom scrolling.
yeah, we're still doom scroll. Like I feel like my body is and my mental health is just starting to degrade because I just mindlessly doing stuff that I could have been spending time doing things that are better for my
Yeah.
future and myself. But I find myself just doom scroll, which is quite an issue in our generation today. You know?
I think one of the hardest things about locking in and not procrastinating is finding things that you're passionate about and finding things that you're willing to do. One of the biggest advice I have for procrastination is, as bad as it sounds, it's just to do it. You're not gonna quit procrastination if you just don't do the work. Like, I know it sounds like it's like, okay, what a stupid piece of advice, but you seriously just have to do it. I remember a lot of times when I procrastinate on like my math homework or something like that, I'm just like, you know what? Screw this. I'll just do it. And I do it and I don't procrastinate. And
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just do it. Like show up, do the work. I think that's like one of the biggest advice for life in general, but like adults will say stuff like, "Oh, think about like your future. Think about like how important it is for you in the future." But I don't think us teens don't really think about like our math homework or our like history homework as helping our future. I think just know think of your work as a responsibility that you have to take care of and to just do it. That's the biggest thing. Even if you don't feel like doing it, just do it. You might not think that it's useful in the moment, but it teaches a lot
Yeah.
if you just do your work.
Definitely. And also another tip I have is to change your setting. The setting actually matters a lot. Like let's say you are doing your work and you're next to your bed. It's really tempting to actually study just because your bed is next to you. You might like whenever you're taking a break from your study, you might just go on your bed and sleep, which
Hmm.
that might have happen. But I feel like sometimes you can change your setting, like go out to the kitchen or go to your library, because when you have a new
Hmm.
setting, you have a new place to locked in. You're not easily distracted, like a place where you're more comfortable, like your bedroom. But this is
Hmm.
also more of a personal preference because maybe you guys study better in your comfortable places, but you feel like your bedroom is distracting you, then you should change your settings. That's definitely something that if you feel like falling asleep on your bed every time when you go home is something that is affecting
Hmm.
you, you should change your settings. And that's what I do. Usually I stay in my library until 4:30 every day so that when I go home because I know that I will the first thing I'm going to do is jump on my bed. Yeah, that's what I do a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of the best advice that I remember our AP World teacher gave us was the only thing you should do on your bed is sleep because your brain, I don't remember how he says this, but your brain will sometimes like connect certain activities with certain places. Like it'll connect your desk to studying if you constantly study on your bed. And I mean, if you constantly study at your desk, and it'll connect sleeping to your bed if you constantly sleep on your bed, and if you only sleep on your bed. So I think someone asked our AP World teacher in our class, like, how do I combat insomnia? And our AP World teacher was like, don't do anything else on your bed besides sleeping. Don't eat on your bed. Don't do homework on your bed because your brain is going to automatically go into, oh, it's time to eat or, oh, it's time to study and you won't relax.
Hmm.
So that's one of the biggest things. But yeah. But again, take all this with a grain of salt because we're kind of hypocrites because we procrastinate a lot.
Yeah.
But I think that's normal. I feel like if you're a high schooler and you don't procrastinate, something's going on in your brain. Either you're Albert Einstein or you're weird.
Yeah.
I'm kidding,
But
but you know.
if you don't procrastinate and you actually get on top of everything, I admire that. Like keep up that work. I really
Oh
admire
yeah,
that trait
100%,
of you.
100%.
Like I wish I could be like you. Like I really want to combat
Yeah,
procrastinating, but it just happen a lot.
yeah. It's normal. Procrastination is very normal.
Yeah, it's inevitable. So all
Yeah.
right.
But that brings me to my next topic, mental health. Honestly, procrastination plays a big role in mental health. I feel like because procrastinating on your schoolwork and you just like stick to doing other things like social media and stuff like that, it's very bad for you mentally, you know?
Yeah.
But I think one of the biggest key factors to mental health in school is academic pressure. And I know we said this before, but our school is very competitive. We go to a predominantly Asian school with very strict parents who are like, you have to get all A's. So that's our school. And I feel like me personally, I often compare myself and my academic journey to other people at my school, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
I think to myself like, damn, I'm stupid, or like, damn, I suck at everything. And then, but I think it's normal to I think it's normal to feel a little disappointed in yourself or to criticize yourself. What's not normal is that criticism and disappointment consumes your entire life to the point where you just have no motivation to go to school. You have no motivation to do anything, and that it eats you up. I think that's not normal.
Yeah. Definitely, I agree. I agree.
Cause one of my, cause I remember, we'll take the physics quiz as an example. I was very disappointed in myself, and I spent a whole night just like like staying up and thinking about it, and I was just like, oh my God, like this is gonna ruin my entire break. Like this is horrible. And I remember thinking that for an entire night, and I woke up the next morning. I didn't even, and then guess what? I didn't even think about the quiz. I think and I think that's normal. I think it's okay that if you do bad on a quiz and and it's in your brain for like a whole day, and I think that's normal. But what's not normal is if it consumes you. And I think at our school, definitely mental health is a huge problem. But I don't think it's talked about enough. I feel like the adults at our school give out a lot of advice for mental health, but I feel like students aren't likely to take it because a lot of the times they're like, oh, what do you know? You're just a teacher, and I'm a student. You don't know anything. But I think when it comes out of our mouths, because we're students and we're going through the same thing, to that they actually realize how important mental health is. So take care of
Yeah.
yourselves.
I also believe that one part that students are afraid to speak up about their mental health is that they don't want this to be a big deal. Because if you talk about your
Yeah,
mental health and suddenly the teacher is pulling you to the office and suddenly making you do this sort of paper where saying that you are feeling unwell and other stuff and giving you
yeah,
therapy and other stuff, it's a lot of progress and work. And sometimes that might be overwhelming some students because they're not used to this
yeah,
type of progress and action,
yeah,
right? They're more
hmm,
used to like just talking to someone and just getting or just keeping it to themselves. But this time, like if you're talking to
yeah,
a teacher, it might get like out of your own comfort that you're gonna be talking to other people, including your counselor or some other therapy
hmm,
teacher in your school. So that might restrain some students from actually speaking about what they feel or how it mentally affects them, which is kind of sad, but it's true.
yeah. I feel like that whole process of bringing kids who tell like their teachers, "Oh, I'm feeling a little depressed," and bringing them up to the office and like, making pushing paperwork in their face and pushing a counselor in their face and be like, "Oh, you have to talk about this right now." I feel like it makes mental health sound very taboo, and it makes the student feel like out of place and like not normal. I feel like if a kid tells a teacher, hey, I'm feeling a little depressed, you shouldn't send them up to the counselor's office. You should like talk to them, ask them like, hey, like why are you feeling this way? You know, make them feel like a human. Because I hear my friends from all other schools and even at our school, and they talk about how they go up to their teachers and say, hey, I'm really struggling with this, and they just immediately get sent to the counselor's office and they don't even get talked to. They just get paperwork and therapists pushed in their face, and it just makes me sad because
Yeah,
I feel like people going through those kinds of things definitely need to just talk to someone. To just talk to someone,
yeah. I also believe that listening really helps because sometimes it's just better to
Yeah.
just listen and not try to spread it out. Because I feel like if the student trusts you to say something to you, you shouldn't really like spread it all to other teachers. If because
Hmm.
the student might feel like it's a comfortable place to just keep things private and talk to you and hope that you can get some advice
Yeah.
to it. So that is something that I hope some teachers might keep in mind if there are students coming up to them and asking or telling how they're feeling to the teacher.
Hmm.
It's really important to keep things private and not make it overwhelming for the student.
A big deal, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what are the big things about mental health? I think that affects kids' mental health is their grades. I think people gotta real if you're listening to this, just know your grades don't define you. And I know you've been told that multiple times by your teachers or by your peers or but grades truly don't define you. Like yeah, they define you like maybe they define you right now because you just haven't found yourself yet, and that's fine. But grades really don't define you. Like in 20 years from now, when you're at a 20-year high school annual reunion, you're not gonna pull out your freaking report card and be like, I got a 4.5 my senior year of high school. What did you get? Like that no one's gonna do that. So I don't like it when people stress out over their grades. I know in the moment it feels like, oh, I have to stress over this. I have to do this. I have to literally break myself just to get an A in this class. Like, no, you don't. Like, it doesn't define you.
Yeah.
But I think we're hypocritical when we say that because I think we do beat ourselves up a lot when we look at our grades.
Yeah. And also the idea that if you don't have good grades, you don't get into a good college. And honestly,
That's not true.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't believe that's true. Like maybe it does play a part, but colleges is not just about grades. It's all about also what you do outside of school and also how you contribute to your community. And also, even if you get rejected from your dream school, I love the saying that they say rejection is redirection. So even if you get
Yeah.
rejected, there is still different pathway that you can take. You don't have to go to a
Hmm.
very fancy school like Ivy Leagues. There are still other schools
Hmm.
that are still open for you. And if you're willingly to learn and improve yourself, there's always success if you try hard enough.
Yeah. I think, yeah, one of the biggest things that a lot of students like get worked up over are grades, which it makes me both sad and also compassionate because I understand where they're coming from.
Hmm.
Especially this year, junior year, it's our hardest year objectively. I feel like this year I've been harder on myself on my grades, and I understand people's sentiment towards their grades, especially now. I remember in middle school I did not give a F about any of my grades. But then it came to high school, and then I was like, "Ugh, I gotta start. I started pushing myself because in middle school I was basically failing all my classes, and I pushed myself really hard in high school. And I remember one quarter in like sophomore year where like I was so done mentally with my grades. Like I was like I'm so done with this. Like I can't do this anymore. And that made me sad thinking about it now because I was like I pushed myself so hard for something that doesn't even define me in 5 years from now.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's my sentiment on mental health. You know, take care of yourselves. Don't push yourself, don't beat yourself up over something that you failed because it doesn't matter. You're gonna in the future, you're not gonna look back at yourself and be mad at yourself that you didn't get an A in your econ class or something like that. You're not gonna care. As long as you're taking care of yourself, you're trying your best, that's all that matters.
Yeah. And we are not also saying this to demotivate you from studying, and we believe that studying do matters. Like it's good that you're actually
Yeah,
putting effort
100%.
into stuff, but we're just saying that don't let the impact of why grades matter just take over you and give you a more pessimistic view on this and making it affect your mental health. Like try, do good work, do hard work, but also just remember that you yourself is also very important. So don't
Yeah.
let this take over you.
Yeah, 100%. I remember it's funny thinking about it now. I remember our history teacher, he spent like a whole class period because we had a long period that day. He's talking about how you shouldn't let your grades affect you, yada yada yada, and how you shouldn't stress yourself out over studying that much. And then 2 seconds later, he was like, "Okay, we have a test tomorrow."
Yeah. Oh,
I remember that. I was thinking about that like the entire time. I was like, "Dang, dude, like what?"
that changes really quick.
But, moving on to a less depressing topic. Pun not intended, I don't know. How to study for AP exams. So, what AP exams did you take last year? AP World and
I took AP World and AP Computer Science Principles. That was mine.
yeah, I only took AP World last year. To study for AP World, I don't know this for like any class. So, if you're taking AP World this year or if you're going to take it next year, I studied using the review book. There's a review book for each AP class. I did a review book for AP World. I just spent every day, not every day, but like once a week, going over MCQ questions and doing a practice SAQ. Or I never did the DBQ one. The DBQ one took too long, but I did practice SAQ questions and practice MCQ questions. And I remember I watched Heimler history. Thank you again, Heimler. I watched all of his videos from Unit 0, because we have a Unit 0. I think AP goes up to Unit 9,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah, I went from Unit 0 to Unit 9 and I did notes. I wrote down everything that he said, and I think it helps with not memorization, but I remembered like core stuff from writing things down. That's how I studied. How did you study?
Okay, so during the AP pre-AP exam season, I kind of slacked off a little bit
Mhm.
because it was just I was being a little overwhelmed, and I kind of tried to avoid the studying and ended up procrastinating. However, I spent most of my time studying with my friends. Actually, I believe that having a study peers do help because you get to review and they get to quiz you and you quiz them and you actually retain some memory through that process, which is what I believe helped me the most. As for prepping for the writing, what I do is I upload a rubric to ChatGPT and I tell it to
Mhm.
pretend that it's an AP exam grader so that it can give me like a live feedback of my writing. So I do that occasionally for the
Uh-huh.
SEQs and LEQ. I do most of it for SEQs though. Because LEQ, yeah, for LEQ, I get really. Sometimes I don't feel like writing a whole essay just like out of that.
Yeah,
So
me neither.
usually I do it for SEQ. I practice most in class than actually in at
Yeah.
home. So that's what I did.
Mhm.
As for AP concept principles, I just review the course content. I believe that actually knowing what each section of the code do really matters. And then if you're taking any computer science, I feel like every single code block that they give you will have a purpose. Like that code block is going to have a function. So if you understand what it does, then finding what's the missing code or finding the output will be way easier for that. So that's something to keep in mind. Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things about AP exam studying is you gotta hone into what you're bad at. I knew from the get-go that I was bad at MCQ, but I was very good at FRQ. So I that's why I did do a practice DBQ because I knew that I would have been fine on the DBQ. I did do some practice SAQs because out of all the FRQs, those are the ones that I'm the worst at. But I did a bunch of practice MCQs because that's what I was the least well at. I also was bad at content memorization, so that's why I took a bunch of notes from videos. But honestly, just find the study plan that works for you. Hone into the skills that you suck at. Also, get the review book. Get some sort of review book, whether it's an ultimate review packet from Heimler or the review book, or get one of those. Those help a lot. But, AP exams aren't really that scary. I thought it was I expected it to be very scary going in, but it's not that scary. It's very fun if you study with friends. Like if for example, if you're taking history and your friends are taking also APUSH or AP World, it's good to make history jokes because you will remember those on the exam. Like you'll be writing an SEQ like what was that one law or like what was that one guy, and you'll think of a joke that your friend made and you're like, oh yeah. So that helps a lot. Study in groups, study with friends. That's one of the bigger
Yeah.
things, yeah. Anyways, I think that's all. And that's a wrap on our very first episode of Quietly Messy.
We hope you enjoy hearing about our AP class struggles and how we're managing it or not. Academic pressure and some of our tips for studying and staying sane.
Remember, no matter how messy things get, you're not alone. We're all figuring it out as we go.
If you like this episode, don't forget to follow us so you don't miss out what's next. And we'd love to hear from you what AP classes you're taking and how you surviving high school stress.
You can reach out to us on social media or send us questions and topics you'd like us to cover in future episodes.
Thank you so much for listening to Quietly Messy. Stay tuned for more honest, messy conversations.
Until next time, take care of yourselves and remember, grades don't define you, but your effort and growth do. Bye bye!